Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday to you. We are here at the always beautiful Cobblestone Hotel for another amazing episode of Music Talks. This week, I have my very good friend, bandmate, colleague, pianist, and keyboardist, Mr. Matt Klumpp. Hello.
Hi, Chelsea. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
I'm very excited to pick your brain.
Okay.
So let's jump into
What
it.
you want to talk about?
First, can you tell me how you got into playing the piano, how this whole thing started? Quick and dirty.
All right. So I don't know how old I was, but my dad played. I guess he knew how to play. He knows how to play. And at my grandfather's house, he kind of showed me, I remember trying to do the letters. I knew the white keys were letters, and I was trying to do the alphabet. And he was like, "No, you look at the black keys, and that's how you tell where all the letters are." And I was like, "All right, I think I'm gonna say second or third grade. I want to say." And then, and it just became okay, each one of these lines and spaces is one of these white keys. Sharps and flats are the black ones. Add a stem or add a beam, and it goes twice as fast. And that's about all I had till I was 17, I think. And then I had my first actual formal piano lesson at 17.
With who?
Jack.
Well, Matt isn't originally from this area.
I am not.
He's from Pennsylvania, but
the woods outside of Philly. Yes. Well, he's
Philly.
not. Yeah.
He's from Philly. So you were studying at 18. You took your first piano lesson.
I think I was 17.
17. Apologies.
Because my parents or my mom didn't really. And she didn't really support it, I would say, but it was kind of a foreign thing to her, or they didn't kind of deal with it. So the first 6 months I studied, I would get home from school, walk up to my grandfather's house, borrow his truck, and then drive myself to my piano lesson, take my piano lesson, and then come home. So for the first 6 months, I actually studied. My parents didn't know I was studying formally, but I had decided I want to go to school for it.
Yeah. So then you ended up going to school for piano performance.
And yeah, there was a lesson. It started out. He was my choir teacher in high school. And so I traded being in his choir for piano lessons during the school day, which was really amazing. I didn't think until I got older how cool that he did that. Yeah. Jack Charles, if you're out there, I remember. Thank you very much.
That's awesome. So where did you go to undergrad?
IUP.
IUP. And then you also have a master's in piano performance as well.
From Duquesne.
Yep.
Yep.
So how was the whole college experience? I mean, you were classically trained, right?
Yes.
You weren't initially a jazz guy.
I was not.
You were initially a classical guy that converted to jazz.
Right.
And dare I say, you prefer jazz these days?
I get maybe. I mean, I'm writing in the jazz genre. I don't know. If somebody said you're not allowed to play classical music anymore, I'd probably quit because I just love playing it.
Well,
it's
I
it's
understand
part
that.
of the,
Once you train classically, it's just kind of
it's just
who
in
you are.
yeah.
It's just in you. You can't get rid of it.
Right.
Sorry to all my students. You're never going to get rid of it. But yeah, and obviously for your students as well, because I'm sure you train in the classical style. So that being said, Matt is also a piano teacher. Where do you teach?
The Newlands Berg Academy of Music in Marysville. It's part of the Newlands Presbyterian Church.
So let's talk about everything that you do now as an adult.
Okay.
I mean, I know you're in Studio E.
Yep.
Because
I'm protege. Yeah, the other band. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you got me the job
That's
with
true.
Studio E.
I
know you work with them. You write music. You've been the music for in commercials. You actually are playing one of those tonight, the lottery commercial.
Right.
Tell me about all that. What do you do these days?
My main jobs would be teaching at Pitt Greensburg, professor of piano at Pitt Greensburg, and then I teach at the Newlands Academy between 20 and 30 students, and then I'm the music director at Delmont Presbyterian Church. So between those three things, that's most of my money, most of my income, and then every once in a while the phone rings and I get to go on a cool adventure or.
You go on a lot of cool adventures. Don't be modest.
Okay.
Don't be modest. He does a lot of cool stuff. You travel around with a band. They call you. Which band is this?
It's the Atlantic City Boys. Okay. It's part of the. I can't remember the name of Paul's company. He's going to be mad at me now if he sees this video. But
sorry, Paul.
Sorry, Paul. It's a company out of Orlando. I believe he has an incredible resume as a music director, and every once in a while when they're on the leg of a tour or something like that and they need a keyboard player, or if it's near Pennsylvania, I guess flying 13 people out of...
Yeah, but not always, because you just went to Vegas with them.
Yeah, well, I guess for some of them, flying 14 people out of Orlando is basically the same as flying 13 people out of Orlando and one person out of Pittsburgh. So
So you're kind of
I
like
got
you're
to
like
go to
living
Vegas.
the dream. You are a full-time musician.
Yes, yes.
You teach and you perform.
Correct.
And that is your life.
That is all I
you,
do.
You travel around and you get to play the piano.
That's it.
So talk to me about how jazz happened.
I always wanted to do it. I was in the jazz bands at IUP, but it was really obvious to me that I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew, I don't want to say knew slightly less than the other pianists. You know, I don't know. I somehow made it in, you know, and I always loved it. And when I went back to get my master's, I approached the Ron Bickel, the jazz professor at Duquesne at the time, and he took me on as a student. So I did 3 semesters of jazz, and
it went from there.
It went from there.
And now you jazz all the
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Some of it, yeah, a lot of times.
Okay, so talk to me about the lottery ticket commercial. I know that's with a specific company that you've recorded with,
yes.
correct?
That's the only that is the only thing I have recorded with them at the moment. But yeah, the company is called Big Science Music. It's owned by Jay Green, and one of his employees is Ray Sneed. And he is in a band called the Goodfoots with Mike, who you'll hear in a little bit.
And you're also in this band.
And I'm the key player for Goodfoots, keyboard player for Goodfoots. And so when it came about that they needed something played on the piano, I got the call. Yeah. And I went down, and amazing company. I believe they have a song on one of the Halo video games. They work on, national level TV commercials. That kind of thing. They do music for national level TV commercials.
It's the commercial where there's a couple sitting at the piano and they're each holding out a lottery ticket, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you hear that, you see that commercial and you hear the music in the background, that's him.
I think it's not on anymore, but it's probably on YouTube.
I remember seeing it.
The cool thing was when my dad saw it in Philly, watching a football game. That was
your
kind of a cool moment.
The Philly
he
accent
called
just
me.
came out a little
Did
bit.
It happens when I get excited, yeah.
That's really awesome. So talk to me about the bands that you're in. How many bands are you in?
Well, I never really counted them. Let's see. Let's count them. Protege, Goodfoots.
And we should get Goodfoots on the show.
Yeah, let's make that happen.
Yeah, we should
there was
make
like
that
a
happen.
conflict with. There was time conflicts.
2020. We're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah. I just got on the Let's Groove Tonight, the Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute band in Pittsburgh. 3. That's it.
3.
I think. Yeah.
So then.
And us.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
us. So let's talk about us. We started writing our own music, and now is this your first time actually writing for like an EP or an album?
Yes, actually, now that I think of it, yeah. It would be, yeah. I mean, I started some of the jazz tunes several years ago and just never really actually, this show was really nice because it forced me to make tracks and find somebody, find someone to play the melodies. And
so is this like the first time some of those pieces have actually been performed?
That's the first time I've ever played those 2 pieces, yeah.
No way!
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. So everyone, you're going to hear, an original song from us, which is our slow jam and our only slow jam thus far. But we do have 5 songs in total ready to go. And you're also going to hear 2 jazz songs that Matt wrote. And it's the first time anyone's hearing them. So this is actually really exciting. Awesome. So talk to me a little bit about writing. How has that been? Like, is it different writing your jazz pieces versus writing you and I?
It's different. It's the stuff that you and I can do. The stuff that you and I do just because of what it is a little simpler. Mm-hmm. There's, how do I want to say it? There's more, like jazz, you can take a lot more liberties. You can experiment with things. You can use chords that, I don't know how to explain it, but whereas with us, we're going for a certain type of sound and, try to push boundaries within that sound, but we have to stay within the sound that we want. Right. So it's that.
Do you have a specific process that you use whenever you're writing?
Not really.
Things just come to you.
I pretty much just I live my normal life. I just kind of walk around, and every once in a while, something will come. And something will come to me, and then we have a song. Pretty much how I do everything.
That's great. That's perfect. So there's really no set formula. Just it just hits you.
Pretty much.
Very cool.
I recycle everything.
Yeah.
We're gonna do 2 songs. Like the song that we're gonna do is recycled from one of the songs I wrote for the Planet Star.
Right.
Which you'll hear that later also.
Yes, you will get to hear that. So the inspiration for our song, Plaything, you'll hear that right before I sing, which is pretty cool. And you can hear the similarities between the two. So, I mean, I think it's very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a cool song, too.
I know.
So it's a book called The Planet Star. Can I talk about it? While I talk about it?
Yes.
Okay. She wanted me to talk about it. It's a sci-fi novel called The Planet Star, written by C.M. Chakrabarty, who's actually Billy Strayhorn's niece. Billy Strayhorn was one of the lead writers for Duke Ellington. So she comes from a line of jazz musicians. Her son is an opera singer, a phenomenal opera singer. And so the scene that music would be in is the main character is a widow. So she just lost her husband. And the planet that she goes to is called Tima. And it's autumn on the planet at the time, but the leaves on that planet are red, orange, and purple. So Autumn on Tima is the name of the song. So when you're hearing it, just kind of imagine a fall landscape, but instead of the hues, instead of yellows, would be like purples. Cool. That was kind of the inspiration for that song.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. So let's talk about going forward, the future. What do you have coming up? What's in store for the future for you? You know, any big plans?
I don't have any big plans. I mean, I have 2 jazz songs now that I have about 8 that I know what they're going to be. I just have to find a time amongst playing for all these other things to
Are you planning
write
to
them down?
Are you planning to record
them?
You're planning
Absolutely.
to record the jazz songs, and then of course eventually
an album. Yeah.
we will record.
We'll record our album. Yeah.
We need a guitarist.
Oh yeah, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone that knows theory. Yeah. But yeah, so
and can read music if possible.
Please.
We can work with that one, but
yeah,
that would be awesome.
Anyways.
Okay.
Oh, and we're writing metal. Okay, so
oh yeah, right.
we're looking to record along with Doug under the name Etheria.
Yep.
You want to record your jazz piece. You said you had about 8?
About 8, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thanks.
So you have a lot of things in the works. You're performing all the time. You're teaching all the time. How do you have time to be a human being? We don't.
You could probably answer that better than me.
We don't.
Yeah, you just
we're just musicians.
Exactly.
That's
it's kind of a lifestyle.
It is, but we love what we do.
I wouldn't do anything else.
Well, Matt, thank you
You're welcome.
very much for coming on the show tonight. As always, I enjoy talking to you, and it was fun getting to know your story a little bit more.
Thank you.
We're going to take a little break for everybody out there, and then we will be back to hear some original music and some classical pieces in the beginning, played by Mr. Matt Klumpp.
Dude, what is up with your house?
Oh, it's cool. My parents just got Zoom.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back, and a special welcome to my good friend, colleague, and bandmate, Mr. Matthew Klumpp. Take it away, my friend.
So the song you just heard is a piece I wrote for a sci-fi novel called The Planet Star by C.M. Chakrabarty, which is currently available on Audible. And when Chelsea and I got together to write the first time for our band, I brought that song, and we kind of adapted that song into the chords and the harmonies for the song you're about to hear called Plaything. And
It's the first song that we ever wrote together.
And Chelsea wrote the melody and the words, and I wrote the music and the chords behind it, kind of based on what you just heard me play. And so here it is.
Your hands penetrate my skin. The touch lingers and fills me with sin. Your breath comes to reach mine, and it drains my hope from inside. If you only knew that I'm just an object, a tool for desire. Come strip me down, I'll be your plaything for a while. Come taste my lips, but don't look at my face. Use me like you want, feel the finish, feel the hate. So I lay cold and exposed, unmoved like a stone. You smile, caress my face, feel the scream, feel the ache. If you only knew that I'm just an object, a tool for desire. Come strip me down, I'll be your plaything for a while. Come taste my lips, but don't look at my face. Use me like you want, feel the finish, feel the hate. Tell me it's over, tell me I'm real, tell me it gets better, 'cause now I don't feel. But I'm just an object, a tool for desire. Come strip me down, I'll be your plaything for a while. Come taste my lips, but don't look at my face. Use me like you want, feel the finish, feel the hate.
So the story behind this piece, this is a jazz piece that I wrote that actually came out of a conversation with a friend of mine who's a physicist. And he was trying to explain the fact that a quantum particle can be in two separate states at once. And it was a kind of an interesting conversation. And I said, oh, it's kind of like how when I'm playing jazz, in one hand I'll play a certain chord, and in the other hand I'll play a different chord. But as they go together, it makes it sound correct. It makes it sound jazz. And he kind of liked that analogy, and I think he still uses that analogy in his teaching. So this piece called Superposition, and basically the entire harmony is in one key, and the melodies that we're soloing off of are in completely different keys, but somehow it works. All right, so this last tune we're going to play, so my first job out of college was selling Steinway pianos for Trombino Music Centers. And I started out in Monroeville, but I got quickly promoted to the assistant manager in Greensburg. And it was a very popular organ store. They sold digital organs there. One of the best digital organ salesmen probably in the country, I guess, worked there. And every once in a while, we would get a Hammond organ. And whenever that would happen, these gospel church musicians would kind of come out of the woodwork, and they would play this church music that I had never heard in my life. I'd never really heard a Hammond organ played live. And I was having a dream one night, and I was back in Trombinos, and this old African-American church organist came in, and he played the melody to the song you're about to hear in my dream. So I woke up, and I wrote it down, and I played it for Google, and Google said it's never heard of it before. So if I stole this from you, I'm really sorry. But as far as I know, that was just kind of my imagination working through that dream. So this is Squatter House Blues.
Guys, thank you so very much for coming out tonight, Matt and Mike. You were wonderful. I appreciate it so much. Everyone, that is a wrap. We will be back here at the Cobblestone Hotel next Wednesday, so be sure to tune in. Have a lovely night, and we'll see you next week. Bye.